the Rosamond High School and Tropical Middle School Cadet Corps. We'll see them in the parade here shortly. Homes for Families, Eternal Valley Memorial Park, and Spanky Sparkles, Eternal Valley. Well, that's coming up next. All right, so this morning, as the POW MIA float comes by, we'll play the national anthem. And that'll be a time to stand up. And then when that's concluded, then we'll talk about the missing man table that's set up on the float. Very important recognition in honor of POWs MIAs. There's a car show down by Glendower Park. The building is open. The Orange Street, Denver Street, Glendower Park area. The actual Septemberfest begins about 11. They're going to award, or make award presentation, I should say, for folks who get trophies from today's parade at noon. Rosamond's Got Talent will be at 1 o'clock. Kids contest at 2. There's an open mic and karaoke. And so a lot of stuff going on. This is our event every year. So this is the time to get out and meet your neighbors and see who's active. If you've ever looked up POW MIA Day, POW is prisoner of war and MIA is missing in action. In all of the major conflicts that the United States military has been involved with, there have been folks who have been captured by the enemy, and some came back, some didn't. Many didn't. Then there are a number of folks who were just plain missing and presumed gone at this point, obviously. But if you look at the statistics over time, those numbers have been falling steadily, especially since the Vietnam War. And I would have to say that was due in large part to the work that our dedicated men and women do out at Edwards Air Force Base. The idea is to, because war is a very dangerous thing, make it as safe as reasonably can be expected. We owe it to our warfighters to make sure they have the best equipment possible before they go into harm's way for our behalf. Part of the parade today, are you? Yeah, apparently not. Okay. So here comes our first entry, the sheriff. You'll notice he's not speeding. Setting a good example for us. Where I'm located is right across the street from the new Diamond Street Events Center, in between the Chamber of Commerce office and the car wash. So stop by the Chamber office, get to know your Chamber of Commerce, and you're welcome to join. If you can share that common goal of helping to make Rosamond a better place to live and work, and getting involved with organizations like the Rosamond Chamber and the Rotary and so forth, and even the Rosamond have always been prompt, they've always been there. The dedication of those folks is phenomenal. We need to be appreciative. Following the sheriff, there is the float for the Rosamond Chamber of Commerce, the Grand Marshal. This year's Grand Marshal float is sponsored by the Rosamond Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 9675. As they come to a stop, we'll play the national anthem.
tiny place, way out in the North Atlantic Ocean, but full of mountains and waterfalls.
Oh boy. Some technical difficulties can be expected, apparently. Okay, let's. Yeah. If you look on the back of the float, you can see the missing man table. This table is reserved to honor our missing comrades in arms. You'll notice that the table is round, symbolizing our everlasting concern for our missing service members. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose reminds us of the life each of the missing and their loved ones who keep the faith, who are awaiting answers. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, a symbol of our continued determination to account for our missing. A slice of lemon reminds us of the bitter fate of those missing, held as prisoners in foreign lands. A pinch of salt, which is a little tough to see, symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who long for answers after decades of uncertainty. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith in our country, founded as one nation under God, to sustain those who lost from our midst. The glass on the table is inverted, which symbolizes their inability to share in today's toast. The chair is empty. It's empty because they're missing. Let us take a moment to honor our nation's POWs and MIAs and to the success of our efforts to account for them. And the efforts to account for them is ongoing. They haven't stopped. Periodically you'll see stories where they've found someone else and repatriated the remains. So we want to thank the VFW especially for reminding us of the sacrifices made by these folks. Thank you guys for stopping. Let's continue with the parade. Following closely behind should be, I can't see him for sure, let's hope he's there, Assemblyman Tom Lackey. He's our representative to the State Assembly, and he is the 36th Assembly District, which is where you're living. He and his lovely wife Linda are thrilled to join everyone today in the 43rd Armed Forces Appreciation Parade to honor our veterans and men and women in uniform. Thank you for your the message he wants to leave. This is a guy who is next up, the Rosamond High School Roadrunner Marching Band.